Hello friends, this is my TBR Closet Alphabet Spinner Wheel Challenge. Today, the letters we're focused on are M, N, O, and P. I'm reading one book for each letter of the alphabet from my long-standing TBR closet. M's, there's a lot to choose from, but I won't be choosing, of course. That's what the spinner wheel's for. We have Make a Scene, Mouthful of Birds, Meet Me at the Crossroads, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, The Minders, Magic for Liars. Those all by authors I've read and loved before. Moonbound, Mother-Daughter Murder Night, Midnight Storm Moonless Sky, Midnight on Beacon Street, The Mimicking of Known Successes, Meet Us by the Roaring Sea, My Mother's Home, Midnight Rooms, Mame, Murder Your Employer, all by authors I haven't read from before, and then an anthology by a bunch of different people, Miss Creations. My spinner wheel is actually out of commission right now, so this is now the TBR Closet Alphabet Challenge, anything but the spinner wheel edition. Today the spinner wheel is me. Ah! Okay. Oh my god, we did it. I'm so dizzy. I'm reading A Mouthful of Birds by Samantha Schweblin. This is a short story collection. I'm so dizzy from this author. I feel like maybe I read the first story in here before when I was deciding between a bunch of different books for some kind of video, but I don't remember it at this point. So out of all of our options, we made it. If you join my channel membership, you can see the behind the scenes couple minutes that occurred before that successful spin. Rob's here with us this week because he can't go to work.
Nope.
So we now have a scavenger hunt to complete. Wow! I think we're gonna try to eat somewhere that starts with M, N, O, and P each. One of those this week.
Okay.
We have to go shopping somewhere that starts with M, N, O, and P.
Let's play a video game that starts with M, N, O, and P this week.
Do you have that many options?
Yeah.
Mario Party.
I can play Pal World.
Oh.
Pokemon. I have every Pokemon that's ever existed.
Oh.
Overwatch. We can play Overwatch.
We're starting right now and we're gonna check off M because we're gonna go to Mosaic and buy some books. I don't really have anything on my radar, but we have to be downtown because Liam has an appointment. And then we're gonna go out for breakfast. Where are we gonna go?
OEB.
Starts with an O. We don't know what it stands for, I don't think.
Over Easy Breakfast.
Oh. Okay, I ended up buying Summer Girlfriend. It doesn't start with my letters. Also, the sun is very scary. Oh, and the bag that I brought today. Read more. More with an M. I made it to Old Navy with an L. I'm trying on some clothes. This is like a workout shirt that's like ruched at the bottom. So it's like balloony. I thought it was cute, but it's 2 layers thick and I think that's too thick. This is what I came in to try. I think it's cute, but I obviously need to wear a different bra. I don't know if I like this or not. And this is the other one I came in here in order to try. I don't know if I need it in a size smaller. No, because it might shrink. I'm gonna buy them all. I ended up buying pretty much every shirt from Old Navy. In fact, the one that I said was gonna be too thick for the gym, I bought 2 of. And then we just went to the gym and it was indeed too thick. But I really like the fit of it, so I think I'll wear it like in other situations. And then I also replaced my shoes. These are On Cloud with an O. And now we're headed to the beach. And while I was in the gym, I listened to, I feel like probably the first half of my collection. And I just kept walking and walking. I was like, I'm not gonna leave until I find a story that I like. And I found one. I also don't even know what to tell you thematically that these have in common. I read Headlights, I gave it a 3. I read Preserves, I gave it a 3. I read Butterflies, it was 2 pages. Mouthful of Birds was a 3. I just read Oling Girls, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but that one was also a 3. My Brother Walter was a 3. The Merman was a 3. Rage of Pestilence was a 3. Heads Against Concrete, that's the first one that I read that I liked. Heads Against Concrete was about violence, obviously, and art, and I thought it was really like interesting. The other ones I can see objectively have interesting themes. There's a lot about, like, the very first one I read was about women and captivity. And something interesting about Samantha Schweblin's stories is they all feel very established. It doesn't ever feel like a short story that's like, there once was a man named this and he went here for the first time ever and you're here seeing his first experience seeing this. Like, every single story starts with people who are referencing other people we've never met, their life story that we've never learned. She clearly has very well established settings and storylines for the characters, and many of these stories are only like 3 to 4 pages long, so it doesn't really let you in on it very much. And if there is a story like that, I want to love it because of the ending. Like, I'm always looking for a short story to end with like a gut punch moment, like a little twist or something, and none of them have really had that. My brother Walter had a lot of potential. It was about these farmers moving to this farm and wanting to take care of their brother and him having support and everything that he needs, and then I thought it was going to end in like an oh my god kind of way, and it just didn't. There's been stories about fishing. There was a story called like The Rage Against Pestilence, and it was literally just the description of pestilence. I don't know. I was actually concerned when I first started it because the very first story that I listened to, called Headlights, it used like really repetitive language within one sentence. And I was like, I don't know if it's a story or if it's a translation. She knows that if she opens her mouth, the only sound will be uncontrollable sobbing. Hello, your name was? Then the sobbing was uncontrollable. Felicity tried to control herself. The word control, 3 lines in a row. I don't know if that repetition was intentional and is supposed to be doing something, or if it was just like there was no better word to be used or to be translated for that. I don't know, because I've read quite a few translations from Megan McDowell and I've always liked them before. I never thought that they were lacking in any way, and I haven't felt that way actually since the very first story, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up. I just don't have very much to say about the collection so far. Every story's been just okay. I haven't really gotten the point, though I can see the theme, I guess. I want them to all go a little bit further, and now we're gonna head to the beach because it is a hot day. Finished my book for M. M is for mouthful. And I liked a couple of them towards the end. Oh my god, I just flipped to it. On the Step was my favorite of the collection. It was about, I don't know, but maybe the desire to have children, but also the desire to maybe have a pet, but also the desire to capture something dangerous. It was very interesting, but also ambiguous by the end. There was one called Underground that I liked. I think maybe it was like a metaphor for childlike wonder and creativity and freedom, but also the all-encompassing danger of reality. There was a bunch of people like digging a hole. A lot of these ended up having to do with performance. There was one at the end, this heavy suitcase of Benavides, I'm not pronouncing that right, where a man was bringing around a dead body in a suitcase, and there was a performance kind of element to it. So definitely like artsy vibes. Mostly it was 3 stars. There was a couple 2s. There was a couple 5s. All in all, I am going to have to average it out at a 3. Call it a 3. Love the cover. Glad I read it. Been in my TBR closet for a couple years probably. I've loved other things from this author, and I will continue to read more. I've been wandering around my house trying to figure out what else around here can spin. We could like, okay, but do I assign each continent a book? Can I do something with this? Then I remembered we have the life game. I used this years ago in one of my like end of year color challenges, and I can assign each of these 7 books to one of these numbers. If I spin number 1, it's going to be the neighbor favor. If I spin this orange, number 2, we're gonna call it brown. It'll be not for nothing. Number 3, this orange will be night crawling. The 4 we'll call our red, and that will be noughts and crosses. 5 will be for new suns. 6 will be Nona the ninth. And 7 will be the night of the storm. Then 8, 9, and 10 are reserved for you pick, I pick, and 9. No, 9. Maybe 9 is spin again. Let's slot it in here. We're gonna spin it. It's gonna be great. Should I just spin? I guess I'll just spin it in my hand, or do you want a better view? Let's just do both. Ready? 1. Oh my gosh, so excited to read the neighbor favor. I really like this yellow. Didn't even have to remember which I assigned 1 for because I love this cover. What would I have picked if it was up to me? I feel like I probably would have gone with noughts and crosses just because it's the oldest one in my TBR closet, and I don't know when else I'll get to it. And I know if it was up to you, if I went in the comments of the last video to check what you voted for, it would have been Nona. This though is a book that I have mentioned so many times in so many possible TBRs. It's been on my TBR shelf forever. There was one point where it was like front and center at the very front of the stack. And so it's one of those books that I know people have said they thought I already read, and I feel like I've already read because I know I've also read the first chapter before, trying to pick it for a certain video. This is gonna be the read, and I hope it goes well. I've started my book, and I'm gonna switch over to the audiobook while I'm at the gym. So maybe that'll get me into it, oh my God, into a different way. The air quality is so bad. It's so bad. But like the colors, like there's colors of the rankings, and like it goes from like green to yellow to orange to like purple, maroon, and we're still like yellow into the next color. It hurts to breathe, it hurts to see. I woke up with just a layer of ash on my vehicle because of all the wildfires, and we're lucky there's none like impacting our actual house, you know. The first chunk of this, the first 60 pages is all emails. These 2 people are going back and forth. Because she's in love with his book, his series, and she works in publishing, and she's just really into it, and she emails him on his website, never expecting a response, and then he responds, he's like, oh, you're one of the only people who's ever read my book, and oh, he's so annoying, like, he's so self-deprecating. It's exhausting. The 60 pages has been him constantly being like, no one's ever emailed me before. You're the only one. And then she'll be like, oh, well, I loved your book and it meant so much to me. And he's like, well, you're probably the only person who's ever gotten anything out of my book. And then she was saying like, oh, I never contact people like this. Like, I just really wanted to talk to you. And he was like, you must have been so delirious to contact me. Anyone who ever contacts me must have been so delirious and out of their mind. And then she's just like talking and she's like ignoring him, being so fucking annoying. And she's like, oh, I was thinking about writing a book. And he's like, your emails are better written than any story I've ever written. And she's talking about like how she wants to pursue publishing and like how she wants to change where she's at. She wants to work in children's publishing, whatever. And he's like, hopefully your career doesn't take like mine did. She's talking about her niece and he's like, I hope she doesn't become a jaded adult like I am. I'm believing the point to be that he's like, he would never be this vulnerable in person. And he's just like laying it all out there. And so when they meet in person, it's like so unlike his usual self. Like that's how, well, I guess I've read a chunk now, so that's not really what it is. I thought that's probably the vibe, is like in person he's just like fun and bubbly, and then the truth is that he's like really down on himself and whatever. But then that's not where the story went. He turns out to be a super successful author, and then they meet up because her publishing house, well, that's not why they meet up. Her publishing house ends up carrying his book, so that's a thing happening in the background. But then they meet in real life, and they don't know who each other are. They're just like neighbors. And he eventually finds out, pretty quickly actually, who she is, because there's like little clues around the apartment. Like her cat is the same cat as the person he was emailing with. And, but he can't tell her because, I don't know, he like lied about one part of his identity. Like she thinks he's British and he's not. And apparently that's the reason he's going to keep up this entire ruse. And I thought it was going to be more like, oh, he's just a different person in email than he is in real life. But no, he's still just like very kind of down in the dumps all the time. Everyone deserves love, okay? Like everybody is valid in their feelings and whatever. But I can't imagine putting up with somebody like this in my life who's just constantly just like so negative. I do not see the positive qualities that she sees in this man. Even though she doesn't know that they're the same person. Him in real life, him in the emails, like I don't get the appeal. But hopefully I eventually see their connection and I love them together, because right now I'm just like, whatever. Okay, I got quite a bit through my book. Like, I'm actually nearing the end, but I'm definitely going to continue with the physical book. The audiobook is fine, like the narrators are fine. There's a narrator for each character, Nick and Lily. But when they are imitating other people's voices, it just does not work. The narrator, narrates her when her dialogue comes in as like, she sounds like a child, and she sounds like, okay, Nick, I really love you. And then when she's doing a British accent for this other guy, because of course there has to be another love interest to cause tension between them. I don't think she's actually trying to do a British accent. It's just trying to be a little bit different than an American accent. I don't know what it doesn't sound good. But you know what it does do? Keeps me really locked into the audiobook. Like, I was fully paying attention even though I was on 3 times speed. This feels like a 3-star. What's not working for me is he's getting the bulk of the story. Like, it very much is about him, but he feels like the side character. They don't feel like they're supposed to be equal POVs, but then he becomes more and more the main focus, and everything is about his struggles and what he has to overcome, and how he decides he's not going to be like his father, and how he decides that he doesn't want to be an anonymous author anymore, and like all of his journey, and she's just there like supporting him. And she is also struggling with her career because she's an assistant who wants to be doing more, but it's like every scene with her just feels like the same thing over and over again. She's like, I'm not happy being an assistant. And then we have to watch her boss be like really annoying. And there's just no fun in here. There's zero fun in here. Their dynamic is never really fun, because his head is constantly like, oh, she's gonna figure out who I am. Oh, I should tell her who I am. And hers is just kind of like brain off. Like, there's just not very much substance. It reminds me of the last book I read from this author, which I'm realizing now is a part of the same series. It's following a sister who is also getting a lot of page time in here. Both of her sisters. It just feels like it's setting it up to be an entire series, which it does turn out to be. And what you might have already realized, the book I bought yesterday is also by Christina Forrest. I don't know why I didn't realize the author that I spun is the author I just bought a book from. And at this point, if I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't have bought that book, but maybe years later, it's more my style, the author. My final rating for this is going to be a 3. I thought it was okay. I love books about books and publishing and authors, so there was a little sprinkle of that in here. I would have loved to add it to my big category list of like the 25 things that I love the most and slot this into the books about books category. It just wasn't anything fantastic to me. And I will always say this about so many romance authors, but I think a lot of them need to be writing rom-coms, because it's like they want to write a lighthearted book, and so much of it is lighthearted, not too much intensity in the plot, that when they throw in conflict, like they don't want it to really mess with too much of the book. And so therefore it doesn't seem like everyone's reactions to everything makes a lot of sense, just because they don't want it to get too dramatic. Like, there's super dramatic romances and there's really like fluffy romances, and then this in between I just don't think works that well. With the amount that I'm reading it, the authors are doing it, I just think publishing needs to encourage like going into one of those specific lanes rather than just a nothing book, because all of the reactions just weren't the way that real people would behave. And so if you're gonna do that, do it in like a really cutesy, stupid way, or do it in a really overdramatic, like soap opera way. Another thing that books do so often is that they pitch themselves. They introduce the idea of fake dating. This is now like the 3rd time I've read this year, where the fake dating or the like deal or the bet or anything that people are making gets completely forgotten really early on. So this book, like, you wouldn't know it because I haven't talked about it, but it's about him teaching her how to flirt. Like, that is their original like way that they get connected. That like never happens. He's like, oh, I can set you up with this person. She's like, oh, the way that you talk to this other person, people really like you. People really gravitate towards you. I would love for you to teach me that. And that's like such a fun concept, because then you get these moments of like, is he actually flirting with me, or is he just doing that because he's trying to teach me how to flirt? But that's not what the book did at all, ever. Something I did like though, the amount of bookish stuff, again, because not only are they writers, assistants, want to be editors, but they love books and they love reading and they connect over that. And there was so much name dropping. Books that I love, How You Lose the Time War, the 5th season. I loved seeing them connect over that. And I would have liked it more if I really loved either of these characters, but they just, I don't know. I think it was a lot the way that they spoke to each other or they spoke to everybody else. It felt like an author writing like what someone should have said. Like, you know, when you think about a conversation after the fact and like, here's what I should have said, or you talk to your therapist and they give you the tools of how to have a conversation. Every single conversation felt like a therapist had planned it out. Every single confrontation was like, I feel this way. And here's a list of evidence that made me feel this way. And I know that you, coming from your perspective, might feel this way. So let's come to a common ground and meet in the middle and let's talk about our feelings. And like every single conversation felt like that. It was just overly planned. It was never like a spontaneous fun. Like people never made mistakes. People never said something they regretted later. Like it was just a constant, perfect textbook conversations all the time. And I don't think many people would call that a flaw. Like that's just maybe good writing where you have your thoughts organized and you want your characters to behave a certain way and communicate a certain way. I will say this was a 400-page book, didn't feel like it. This flew by and I really want a long, just depth, like something I can really sink my teeth into. So here are the O options. Some thick O books that I have that are contenders: The Once and Future Me, One of the Girls, and Once Upon a River. A couple average length options: Outlawed and The Only Survivors. And a couple shorter books on my TBR of Women in Salts: The Old Woman with the Knife, and The Only Safe Place Left is the Dark. What do I want to read? No idea. No idea. And that's why this TBR closet thing is so good for me, because there's way too many options. But of course it's not up to me. It's up to my fortune teller, because I have 8 options. You know what 8 goes into perfectly? A cootie catcher. I have only ever called this a fortune teller, but I watched, I feel like a movie at some point and people who were calling it a cootie catcher. So I wonder if it's kind of region wise. I thought I would have to remind myself how to make this, but it came back to me very swiftly. I can't even remember what we used these for. I was thinking like maybe it was a fortune teller, so it was like you would lift it up and it would tell you who you were going to marry or like where you were going to live. But that's what we were doing MASH for. Like you would do MASH and then you would cross off all of the options. So this was maybe we would put in just like yes, no, maybe, and then we would ask a question and then go around like that. Anyway, I have all 8 books written under the flaps, and I wrote them first, then I did the doodles over top, so I have no idea which book is under each one. But first we have to choose an animal. We have an octopus, we have an owl, we have an ox, and we have an ostrich. So I'm gonna go with, I like the octopus. So OCTOPUS, and then I have to choose one of these O's. Ooh, I quite like the flower one, but I also like the curly one. I'm gonna go with the curly one. Will I regret my decision? Okay, it's The Old Woman with the Knife. I did end up getting another short read. If this ends up being another 3-star, we got 3 3-stars back to back, I feel like everyone's gonna be upset with me. What is this even about? I remember buying it because I was considering it as a Literally Dead book club pick. At 65, Hornclaw is beginning to slow down. Her name is Hornclaw. She lives modestly in a small apartment with her aging dog, a rescue named Deadweight, to keep her company. There are expectations for people her age that she'll retire and live out the rest of her days quietly, but Hornclaw is not like other people. She's an assassin. Double-crossers, corporate enemies, cheating spouses. For the past 4 decades, Hornclaw has killed them all with ruthless efficiency. And the less she's known about their targets, the better. But now, nearing the end of her career, she just slipped up. An injury leads her to an unexpected connection with a doctor and his family. But emotions for an assassin are dangerous. As Hornclaw's world closes in, the final chapter in her career may also mark her own bloody end. This is a South Korean author. And since purchasing this, I have read 2 other older senior assassin type books. One I didn't like, one I liked, and I'm interested to see how this one goes. I'll check in with you soon. I am indeed reading a book that's just fine. It's just fine. I can't even take the dust jacket off while I read. Dust jacket? Because it's like stuck to it. Anyway, I just popped over to Goodreads to see what other people were thinking, because sometimes when I don't know if I want to DNF a book, I know you just, no, I know everyone's going to want me to DNF it because then there's another book. Don't you want me to read a whole nother book that I could actually like? Yeah, for sure. But I think when a book is a contender for the book club, I really want to finish it because I want to know, I'm so curious if it would have made for a good discussion or not. And when I popped over to Goodreads, there was actually quite a few reviews that one of the first things they said was like the ending wasn't very satisfying, or like the book really lost steam at the halfway point. And like I'm at the halfway point and I'm already going to give it a 3. And I was like, maybe the ending, maybe the second half is going to be really great. It could be, but not for other people, I guess. What I do like, following an older woman, like this is just not a protagonist we very often get. I like that she has a pet. I like that the narrative is popping around different places and we're learning about a backstory. What I'm not very interested in is this like back and forth. Another reviewer called it like a cat and mouse game between the protagonist and another spy. It's just much more focused on that than, I don't want to say the plot because that is the plot, but like it's just not very thrilling. It's not very mysterious. There's not even very much like dialogue. We're just very much in her head and she's just reminiscing, talking about a lot of things just about her job and how society sees her. And I like what we're talking about. I just want there to actually be things that I'm interested in. And I'm not. Oh, and also we were going to check off more things on this list, but the air quality went up or down. And now we're in like the purple zone. So any plans that we had, it's like we were going to go play pickleball to check off the pee thing. We can't go outside. I have a kid with a lung disease. We cannot go outside. So tomorrow we're going to do some indoor golfing and then go out for dinner. And I don't think any of that starts with the right letter. And also Rob is not playing any video games that qualify. He just gave up because he's been playing Halo. What game are you playing?
Halo remake.
I think it just came out.
This morning at 8 a.m.
Rob set his alarm for 8 o'clock in the morning to play this brand new game. And it doesn't even start with the alphabet letters, which is just really hurtful to me personally. Oh my god, look, Rob and I are so cute today. We're both wearing a shirt, and then our shorts are a darker shade of what we're already wearing.
That's embarrassing. Should I go change? Huh.
We're gonna be on the treadmill walking side by side.
I'm working with Liam today.
Well, yeah, but you come to the treadmill at the end.
I cool off, yeah.
Is today a pull day or push day?
Today is push.
Okay, so check that off the P's for games.
Yeah,
So
yesterday.
you can't play pickleball.
Yesterday was pull. So
Got it. And you know what? I never trust Goodreads reviews or Goodreads average ratings, so why was I about to start now? The second half of this was better, and it was very engaging. It was very interesting. I would give that a 4, and I'd give the first half a 3. This sounds like a 3.5, and we'll be at a 3.75. I really liked the backstory we got about Hornclaw. I liked the action that happened, and I liked all of the dialogue that came along with her and her age. That like typically happens in a book like this. But it wasn't just talking about how there's a younger crop of people coming in and doing the same job and her feeling like this competitiveness, but she was also talking about like the idea that we are prolonging our lives. Like we're at a point in modern society where technology and medical care is increasing our lifespan, but it's not taking into account quality of life. And there are so many people who are just in very difficult like life circumstances because of the age that they are like encouraged to get to. And I wasn't expecting that kind of conversation. It was brief, but it was really, you know, like eye-opening, I guess. Not that this was written by an especially elderly person, but the character just made me think of things, you know? Yeah, is that all I have to say about this? Warning for some animal cruelty or animal death. Do I wish I would have picked this as a book club pick? No, but I think it would have been fine. I think there would be plenty to talk about, but definitely a lot less action than your typical thriller. Today, is for the Peas, Pink Slime, Perfect Days, Park Avenue, Puppy Show, The Plot, and Party for Liars. These ones I remember getting from a library book sale. These all I got thrifted. This one was sent to me unsolicited by the publisher. If I had to pick, once again, I have no idea what I would go with. I don't have any preference. I don't know and I don't care. And I thought of something that spins. It's a bingo spinner! You get a bingo card. You get a bingo card. You get a bingo card. Everybody gets a bingo card. I might need my husband's help. Good thing he's home all week. I don't know how to film this for you. I was looking for another memory card and I just don't have any. So I can't have a second angle for you.
N32.
Wait, I don't have, oh my gosh, I got one.
Don't forget to dab all the freeze too. G50.
Whoa, G50's everywhere.
G49. O68.
Whoa, I'm having so much fun. I don't have that one.
At all?
No!
N31. I-25.
We're getting close to bingo with Pink Slime.
I-29. N35. G60. N38. O69. G59.
The Plot has 3 in a row as well.
G54. I-21. B5.
That was our first B.
Yeah. G51. O71. You got 4 on that one. B7. I-20. I-16. Whoa. Bing, 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 bing,
Where?
bing, 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 diagonal. Bing, 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 bing.
I'm scared of Party of Liars. I'm gonna keep going to get a secondary one just in case I DNF it because it is a mystery and I'm scared of it.
O64.
I only need one more for this one. One more for this one. One more for this one.
N36. I-18. Ding, 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 ding,
That's
ding,
2
ding, ding, ding,
bingos.
ding, ding,
Okay,
ding.
that card one really wants you to read it.
I-28. There you go.
I got a bingo for Pink Slime. Here's our final bingo collar
Bingo call.
scoreboard.
Sheet.
My official winner was Party of Liars. Thank you so much, Bingo Master. I guess I'll check in with you when I've started that. I wasn't planning on ghosting you yesterday. I was going to read the entirety of this and I was going to tell you about it and then I was going to post my video. Yesterday did not quite go as planned. Well, we went to Moxie's for dinner. I got a Cobb salad. It was delicious. Check the M off. But I think the scavenger hunt is over. We went to that indoor golf thing. That was fun. And then my vehicle started turning off while I was driving. It would just like, I would be driving. It was only when I was driving slowly and like turning. So our theory at that moment was like maybe the oil was low. I get oil changes so regularly. So that wasn't it. Then maybe like it was, something was happening with the level, the pressure, I don't know. It would just like stop in the middle of heavy traffic. And it would be like, you have to put your vehicle in park to start it. And I'd be like, it's already started. What are you talking about? So I just had to restart my vehicle a couple times. And so then we went to get an oil change. And then we just got like kind of everything that they offered, which is not something I would normally do. But I was like, we don't know what's wrong with it. And like, okay, we're a little bit behind on our fuel system flush cleaning or something. And then he was like, oh, your spark plugs are a little bit old. I was like, I've never got my spark plugs changed. So, okay, let's do that. And then he pulled them out and they were like black. I don't know if that's normal, but my vehicle runs really hot. So I think like I burned my oil quicker than I'm supposed to. And like my spark plugs were crazy looking. And then what else? I did one other thing and suddenly we spent $500 for like a quick oil change just to kind of rule things out before I make an appointment with my mechanic because it's a Friday. And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get in with my mechanic until Monday. So let's just try to do all the things to try to fix it. And then it made it home without turning off. Like it could be my battery, but I don't think it's my battery. And like all the things like in my vehicle that it tells me could be wrong, didn't say anything. And then also like there was no like lights on my dashboard or anything. So I don't know what the heck was happening, but maybe that just magically fixed it. Oh, also I went to HomeSense and I got this blanket. I have been on the hunt to, don't let Blanky hear, but replace Blanky, or like, I'm not trying to replace Blanky, but I just need to have a backup Blanky for the day that Blanky is no longer as comfy as he's supposed to be. You may be thinking like, oh, that's so cute. You've had a Blanky since you were a kid, and no, I was fully like a 27-year-old woman probably when I purchased Blanky and named him Blanky. And so then I went and I saw this, and I can never find the perfect material. Like they don't sell blankets this material anymore, I swear. And I refuse to shop online for bedding because I'm very particular. And it's just like everything is too fluffy. I hate the like fake kind of furry ones, and I hate ones that have a different texture on both sides. So this was in a bag and I bought it, and I thought it was going to be perfect because it looked correct. But then when I pulled it out of the bag, it's actually like a comforter. It's very thick, and now it's just a decoration on my bed. And you know what? Maybe Blanky doesn't need to be replaced. It also came with a pillowcase in it because I only bought the twin size because I just wanted a throw blanket, but something bigger than a throw blanket because throw blankets these days are too small. And Rob, I guess, liked it last night, which I'm surprised by because, I don't know, it feels a little warm. Definitely a winter blanket, and it's super hot out. So anyway, back to my book, Party of Liars. I don't know the mystery of this. And I'm not one to keep unsolicited books from publishers. And when I say unsolicited, the publisher does, like with my consent, obviously have my mailing address. And at one point asked me, I don't know, is the air gonna land on the microphone here? So I said yes to something back in the day, and I probably said yes to like various packages. So it's not really like truly unsolicited. I just say that when it's a book that arrives that I didn't like request or was specifically reached out to be sent it. Actually, I don't even know who publishes this or where it came from. Who did it come from? Minotaur Books. Okay, sick. Thank you to Minotaur Books for sending this to me a year ago. And I am often donating, getting rid of books that are sent to me that I'm not super excited to read. My TBR closet probably has only a handful of books like this, but at the time I remember planning on donating it, and a couple people said like, no, you should give it a go. And then I saw a couple bookish influencers say this was their favorite like mystery of last year. So I am intrigued, and I've refused to look at the synopsis up until this point. I'm 40% of the way through, and I still don't know who dies, which I think is very interesting. And I bet it says it in here, but I'm not gonna read it. I have my theory about who dies because of the perspectives that we're focused on. But let me tell you what I've learned so far. We have the birthday girl, Sophie. She has a best friend who's coming to her party and a group of other friends, but the farmer friend seems to be one of the focuses. She may be a little bit envious of the rich girl's lifestyle. She's talking about being in love with someone and like an unrequited love. So I'm thinking she could be in love with her best friend. She could be in love with her best friend's dad, her best friend's stepmom, her best friend's ex. The ex hasn't been seen at all yet, and I think that's interesting. The birthday girl's dad seems sketchy, but I think it's too easy. With the literary allusions that have been introduced into here, I think the book wants us to think that the girl's dad is a bad person. There was a moment where he heard a scream and he conveniently knew what it was and calmed everybody down. He's like that guy who had a wife for many, many years and then left her maybe for a younger woman, and now he has this new perfect life with this new woman. That woman, Danny, seems nice, loving. She has this new baby and it's making her a little bit on edge. So we are getting some postpartum stuff that's tough to read, but that's not the main focus. There's so many different perspectives. She has a nanny. The nanny is probably my favorite because when we get introduced to her, everyone's like, oh, she's just this older woman who's obsessed with death, and she's always talking about people that she knows who's died. And I was like, oh my God, I can totally relate. Like when you hang out with older people, it's like people that they know are dying or have died, and they always have like these dark like news stories to share with you. And I was like, okay, can totally relate. And then we got her perspective, and I was like, wait a minute. I now connect with this woman and this idea. I feel like she's totally a type 8, and it's because she's seen many deaths and she's trying to prevent other people. She's trying to protect people. She's trying to help people. And then I was like, oh my gosh, we really need to like listen to old people and their stories, because once we got some more perspectives, they were like, this old woman, she just keeps talking and she's sitting there trying to remember the name of the restaurant she went to this one time with this one friend. I don't care. Like, why does she think I care about this story? And I'm just like, As someone who wants to remember everything, I don't want to lose my memory. I'm going to be that person who's sitting there and it's like, hold on, I'm in the middle of a story, but I'm going to remember the name of this arbitrary thing that doesn't matter because I want to test my own memory and I want to prove that I have a memory. We need to listen to old people. We talk about like being gentle with children and like being patient with children. We need to also focus on geriatric patience and letting old people think and ponder and share their stories and just like sit down and hang out with them. Then of course we also have the mom of the birthday girl, and she seems like too easily just the jaded ex, definitely jealous of this relationship of this other woman who's moved into her home that she built from the ground up with this man and planned, and now there's this younger girl who comes to the birthday party and she's just like there with the new baby and like it's your ex-husband's whole new life. Okay, and then there's a little mystery happening where someone is receiving threatening notes. And I have theories about who could be sending it, but is that going to be the same person who potentially kills someone at the party? I try to give myself the best chance of being surprised by a mystery thriller because it doesn't happen very often and I really want to end this video with a win. I like it so far. I think it's really engaging. I like that we're popping around to so many different people. I can't imagine this book is really going to do anything shocking, but people have liked it. So I've decided I'm gonna like it. It's a couple hours later. I am now 2/3 of the way through this and I still don't know the mystery. And that sounds like maybe it could be something that feels unsatisfying, but what's keeping me so engaged with this book is the fact that every single chapter like begins or ends with you thinking you know what the mystery is. So like it'll end with a woman screamed and then you think, okay, this is what's gonna kick it off. And then the next chapter, they find the woman who screamed and it's just that she like fell down and hurt herself. Or a chapter will start with like, I noticed somebody was missing from the room. And you're like, okay, this is the person who's dead. And then at the end of the chapter, they find that person. For some reason, I'm just all in. I love the gossip. I love the drama. I love the kind of Desperate Housewives vibe of this. It's really stereotypical, honestly. It's just like all the women are gossiping about each other. Somebody thinks the house is haunted. It's hitting every single trope. And I'm having a fun time. Okay, I was filming clips of me reading this, expecting for like a big reveal or like a moment that really did something, and it just didn't turn out. But the final like 2 pages, it was something that I wasn't thinking of. So I don't know, I feel like that could bump up the rating a little bit. This is a hard one to rate because oh my God, broken record. There was nothing wrong with this book. Yeah, it was a thriller that it was a mystery that a lot of people will enjoy. I can't imagine this really surprising many people if you've read a lot of mysteries. And I was really underwhelmed by where the story went and how predictable just the ending was and the results were. It just went like, 100 other mysteries I feel like I've read. And I didn't think that it was going to because I was just really engaged by the story. I thought it was interestingly written. I liked meeting all of the characters and following them all. And then once it was actually, here's what happened and here's who did it, it was like, yeah, okay. But then a couple pages at the end, we're good. I want to just call it a 4 so we can say that the video had a 4 in it, but I think I'm going to give it a 3. Yeah, I think I'm going to give that a 3.75. Not my most successful alphabet vlog if you think about it as the goal being to find things that I love, obviously. But for me, the goal is to get things out of my TBR closet that I want to read. And I did that 4 times in this video, so that's exciting. And I'm officially down from 226 books in my TBR closet to 204 because I've read a couple books outside of these alphabet vlogs. And I think what this series is doing really well for me, even if I'm not finding favorites, is just reminding me what is in my closet and what I can fit into other videos. And it makes me pick up things from here that I might not have. Like I stack all of the books that are in the next alphabet video right here. And then they're kind of like, they're in the, what do you call it? Purgatory between my TBR closet and my TBR shelf. So let me show you what's up next. And I will be fixing my spinner wheel and we'll have some proper moments for you to choose and me to choose. For Q, We actually only have one option, and that's Queenie, which I'm so excited to read. The options for R are right here. If you want to vote down below which one you'd like me to choose, then if I land on that, then you will be choosing. There's a lot of S's, and I don't think I can hold them all. Here's the first half of the S's. Take a good gander. Here's the second half of the S's. One of them, the title is literally just S. And then I think these are all my T's. Some of these I have had for so incredibly long, and some of them are brand new. Well, not brand new. Well, I've had them for at least 6 months because my TBR closet was organized at the beginning of the year. And the thing about the QRST video is I have preferences. It's not that there's anything here that I don't want to read, but there are books that I so desperately want to read that if I don't pull them, if I don't spin them, I'm gonna be sad. And I somehow need to find another way to read all of these books, because looking at them right now, especially the S's, the S stack, like I really want another excuse to give this a go. I really want to finish this anthology I started last year. Everyone tells me I'm gonna love this. In no other world am I finally gonna get to Sleeping Beauties. But anyway, vote for whatever you want to vote for. I'm gonna try to use my magical powers and get something good. Really want to read this one. Oh my god, it's just, it's too much. But we knew that when we started the journey, that there's just too many options. Thank you so much for watching this installment. If you haven't seen any of the other ones, they're linked down below in a playlist, and I will see you next time. Bye!